Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello and welcome. Welcome to your intuitive week of August 4th, 2025, your energy update. I really want to dive right into it. I don't have much to share other than what I received through the meditation. So let's get into it. This week ahead, when I went into the meditation, it was very clear and a lot of practical insight as well, and a really lovely way to kind of bring in this first week of August, of this 8th month of the year. And welcome to anyone who has not listened before, and welcome back to everyone who has. For anyone new, I wanted to share what the energy updates are. What I do is I go into a nice, deep, vivid meditation with the intention to receive any insight, guidance, animal message, any energy that I can translate or reflect back so that we, all of us, could receive something that may help us navigate through the week with more clarity. And I say something because not everything I say may resonate with you, but it's up to you to trust what resonates. When I'm sharing, pay attention to whether certain things feel like they're being spoken to you directly. That means it's resonating. So whether a little bit resonates or a lot resonates, really trust yourself and your intuition and allow yourself to use this episode as a way to develop your intuition, a bit of an exercise to develop that trust muscle. And I always end the episodes with some intuitive questions, some journal prompts to help you even more through the week and integrate anything that did resonate. And yes, let me share what I received for the week of August 4th, 2025. So the first thing that came through in the meditation was an image of flipping back and forth in a book, but it felt more like a journal, something that had been written in rather than typed writing. So flipping back and forth, looking for something. And it didn't feel like hurried or harried, whichever word that is. It didn't feel chaotic or confusing. It felt like searching, like curiosity, and going over details. It felt like revisiting, looking through, and revisiting, reconnecting to thoughts and ideas, even dreams that may have been written down. And there really could be this week something waiting for you to remember, as if your past self has left something for you, for your future self now to find. And as I say that, what is it? Can you even feel a bit of it coming back to you? So if you do have physical journals, this could be a good time, a perfect week to revisit, flip through. You could do a bit of bibliomancy. You could pick a journal, ask yourself a question, flip through with your eyes closed, land on a page, and see which passage. See what comes. See what you wrote, what you looked for, using it as almost a bit of an oracle. But it's you. It's your past self offering you this insight. And if you don't have physical journals, this imagery of flipping back and forth, looking through, going over details, revisiting thoughts, ideas. This could be an energetic exercise that may be helpful this week. So, taking time to get still and meditate by asking your intuition to show you, tell you through your imagination as the translator, to tell you, show you what you need to revisit. What do you need to remember? What does your past self need you to see now? What has it left for you to find? And if that resonates and you do it, please reach out and let me know, because it felt like a strong message, like something that could be incredibly helpful for some of us this week. And then the next thing that came in through the meditation was this image and this feeling at the same time of deep stretching, of deep stretching. So it did feel like some of us may be stretching ourselves this week, but it doesn't feel like a bad thing. It doesn't feel like stretching ourselves too thin. It felt more like stretching ourselves to to reach what we maybe couldn't have before. That something we couldn't understand or connect with, now we have the ability to stretch into it, stretch to reach it. It also felt like stretching into new ways of being, to stretch out of our comfort zones. And it could also be, don't forget, it could also be literally. It could literally be physical stretching. And that insight felt like, oh, this could be something very supportive for us this week to commit to some new ways of stretching in the morning, to begin each morning with a very simple, deep stretch. So, if possible, if you're able, a stretch in the morning, reaching up to the sky, lifting yourself onto your toes and taking nice deep breaths while you're reaching up, stretching every part of you, reaching out to the energy all around, and then coming back to yourself. This felt like, yes, this week is about stretching. And maybe it's every aspect of stretching that I spoke to. But if part of that, if one of the ways of stretching that I described resonates with you, don't ignore that. Maybe it's stretching to commit to doing something new. So, what and where and how can you really stretch this week? What can you do? Just pay attention to opportunities where you may not have before. Maybe this week is different. Maybe this week you can, and maybe you will. And then the next thing that came through for the meditation for this week was a big spotlight on our crown. It felt like some of us, our crown energy, the top of our head, our seventh energy center, seventh chakra, that it might feel like it's in overdrive, that it's not really balanced. And for anyone that isn't as clear around the crown, the energy that we hold in our crown, the space at the very top of our head and slightly above our middle brow, it's associated with the seventh chakra, the seventh energy center, the seventh ray of the rainbow, the color violet. This is where we connect to the power of our thought, of our thoughts, our knowledge, our openness to new ideas, new ways of thinking, the wider view of the universe. This is also where we can use our energy to connect to the universal consciousness, to the divine field, where we can receive inspiration and clear thinking about the world and our place in it. A deeper connection we can receive by connecting and balancing that energy in our crown. We can have a deeper connection to our soul's purpose and the action of it. When our crown, when that seventh energy center is supported, we can feel more in harmony and balanced with the rest of our energy. Often, when it is imbalanced and supported, we can release limiting beliefs or more negative stories about ourselves that impact our life. We can feel safe in how we express the purpose that we feel we have. We can have faith and trust in the world and the universe. We won't isolate ourselves from others as much, and we tend not to judge other people's beliefs as much as well. By supporting and tending to and balancing that energy of our crown, we can calm our overthinking. We can calm our mind, find it easier to accept and connect to the people around us, especially if they are different than we are. This is the energy center where we can understand the interconnection of everything in the universe. It's an impactful one. And if you haven't really paid a lot of attention to your crown energy, I wanted to offer a practice, an exercise. So if this does resonate with you, with what I spoke about, if you would like to bring more balance and support, bring your attention to the top of your head, to the very top of your head, and above, slightly above, the middle brow. And visualize your energy. Visualize that being a center of your energy. Imagine it, if you can, as a ring of energy, a spiral of energy moving in and out and around. You can even picture it in a bright violet. And then picture and feel that energy spiral, that energy begin to offer energy to flow down from it. So from that spiral, feel and see energy begin to move down through the center of your body, through all of your energy centers, through your meridians. Breathing in and breathing out. Picture that energy flowing down, moving down the center of your body and also expanding out until it reaches down your legs to your feet. And then if you feel any excess energy, allow it to easily melt down through your floor and into the earth. And then you can begin to rub your hands together, your palms together, to create some friction, to create some heat, to feel your energy building between your hands. And then when it feels like you've created enough energy, enough heat, hold your hands on your crown, but a little bit above. So hold your hands a little bit above your head for a few seconds. And without touching your head, feel that energetic connection from your hands to your head, from your hands to your crown. And then place your hands on your head and just trust whatever position feels right. Close your eyes and take 4 deep breaths. And then once you're finished, see how you feel. How does your head feel? Your body? How does your mind feel? Has anything shifted? This is a great exercise to do right before you have to focus on something. So if that does connect with you, I encourage you to try it. And then before I get into the animal, you can already hear through the energy impressions. It was quite straightforward, pretty clear through the meditation. That's why I wanted to jump right into it. But before we get into the animal, I wanted to connect to and share a bit about the full moon this week. We end this week with the energy of the Aquarius full moon on August 9th. And I do want to say that the day before that is August 8th, and many people refer to this as the Lionsgate portal, the 8-8 portal. And for me, it has never really resonated, even though I'm a Leo, my birthday's in August. All signs point to it should resonate, but it doesn't. And I really trust my intuition. So, because it doesn't resonate for me that much, I didn't really feel called to speak to it for this episode. But of course, if it resonates with you, great. Like, truly trust your intuition. And I know that there are a lot of people sharing about it. So trust your intuition, look at what people are saying, see how you want to utilize the energy in the day. But I will say, and just offer, to make sure that however you approach it, that they are your feelings about it and not just because you're being told how powerful it is. Make sure that it's because it resonates for you and you feel it, because these kind of portal days that have become quite famous through social media that I've noticed over the past, 10 years. It can be these kind of portal days, repeating number days, any days that people really focus on, like, wait for this day, this is the day. It can often create quite high expectations. And we can easily give our power away to the special thing, the special day, the special portal, waiting for the magic, rather than tuning into the power and magic that we always have access to. But I do want to focus on the full moon energy on the 9th, the end of this week, to really be inspired by it, inspired by the astrology. And the astrology of this full moon is in Aquarius, which is often referred to as the water bearer. And water is an incredible conduit for energy, the bringer of life. And with Aquarius, because it is the vessel, it's not the water, but the vessel that holds the water, the container that is pouring water out and being poured into. And because Aquarius is the water bearer, this incredible container for this conduit of energy, it feels very connected to the way that we are receiving and the way that we are giving. Very much connected to our crown. So if this energy is supporting us this week, it could be supporting us to connect more clearly and maybe in different ways with how we feel a connection to the field of energy around us. And not just our energy, but the collective field, the divine field. And this feels like a great way this week to bring a new perspective into our creativity and how we understand and work with our creative spirit, our creative energy, to bring more attention to how we receive our inspirations. We tend to look at our sacral as the creative center. But what about the co-creation of our inspirations? So to bring a new perspective, a new coherence perhaps to how we co-create with the universe, how we create. That could be what is being supported. This energy could support us through that. It really feels like a time to focus on reconnection with our head and our heart. How can we bring more clarity between our head and our heart? Full moons, they can help us to remember what to release. It can illuminate at its fullest light. It can illuminate what we need to release, what we need to let go of, how much room we need to make so that we can create. So, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to release so that you can have more room in your container, in your vessel? So you can have more room for divine inspiration, for co-creation. Aquarius is such a deeply spiritual energy and symbol. What is in the way of you feeling connected to your true essence, to your soul? This energy is about non-conforming, getting out of groupthink and trusting your own thoughts and feelings by focusing on having an alignment between your thoughts and feelings, between the head and your heart. So I do feel like for some of us, this full moon energy can inspire to know what we need to release, what's in the way of our head and our heart being on the same page, speaking from the same stage. That's what this full moon can inspire this week. Okay, and now the animal. The animal that came through in the meditation for this week of August 4th is the spider. More of an insect than an animal, but it was very clear and not scary in the least. I know arachnophobia is a thing. I definitely had it when I was a kid. Not so much anymore, but quite rare for them to be in my meditation. And I wanted to share a bit about the energy of what the spider represents, and then an excerpt from the book that I love to share from because it has so many cross-cultural references about the symbolism of what the animals represent. So let me share what the spider represents first, the energy of. And as I speak about the spider, trust how it resonates for you. What does it remind you of? What does it make you think of to focus on or look at or find this week? So the spider represents creativity, the weaving of fate, linking past and future, the grandmother, our maternal ancestors, and healing the maternal ancestral line, the magic of the written word, the interconnectedness of all things, balance, manifestation, and life cycles, the spiral symbol of their webs, the beginning and the end and the beginning again. And being the 8th month of the year in our calendar, the spider does have 8 legs. So another little nod to the first week of August. We have the spider representing the 8, and their body is kind of shaped like a figure 8 as well. And I say on our calendar, because just a side note, that it used to be October was the 8th month. That's why it's called October, the octagon. But then we moved to our current calendar, and now August is the 8th month. But because the spider is just such a fantastic energy, such beautiful symbolism, and can inspire so much, I wanted to share a bit of a longer excerpt. The one aspect of the spider that was quite highlighted for me as I was revisiting the Animal Speak book by Ted Andrews. So, about the spider from Animal Speak. The spider awakens creative sensibilities. It weaves a web of intricate and subtle fabric as it reminds us that the past always subtly influences the present and the future. Often the webs will take a spiral shape, the traditional form of creativity and development. The spider found within the web reminds us that we are at the center of our own world. The ancient mystery schools had one precept inscribed above their portals: Know thyself, and thou shalt know the universe. Spider reminds us that the world is woven around us. We are the keepers and the writers of our own destiny, weaving it like a web by our thoughts, feelings, and actions. The spider, because of its characteristics, has come to be associated by mystics and in mythology with three predominant expressions of magic. The first is the magic and energy of creation. It is a symbol of our creative power, reflected in its ability to spin a silken web. It is also associated with assertiveness of that creative force, of keeping the feminine energies of creation alive and strong. The third predominant magic of the spider is associated with its spiral energy. The spiral energy that links the past and the future. The spiral of the web, converging at a central point, is something to be meditated upon. Are you moving toward a goal, or are you scattered and going in multiple directions? Are you becoming too involved or too self-absorbed? Are you focusing on others' accomplishments and not your own? Are you developing resentment because of it, for yourself or them? Because it is constantly building and weaving new webs, it has also been a lunar symbol, with ties to the waxing and waning of the moon. This pattern is a reminder to maintain balance and polarity in all aspects of life. If spider has shown up, ask yourself some important questions. Are you not weaving your dreams and imaginings into reality? Are you not using your creative opportunities? Are you feeling closed in or stuck, as if in a web? Do you need to pay attention to your balance and where you are walking in life? Are others out of balance around you? Do you need to write? Are you inspired to write or draw, but you're not following through? Remember that spider is the keeper of knowledge, of the primordial alphabet. Spider can teach how to use the written language with power and creativity, so that your words weave a web around those who would read them. And that excerpt really felt like what some of us needed to hear. And please let me know. Let me know if the spider really resonates with you this week. And the beautiful synchronicity is after my meditation, when I went to get a glass of water before I was going to record, I walked by my cat's water bowl and there was a spider in it. And I have never in my whole life with my cats, I have never seen a spider swimming in the water bowl. And it wasn't dead. It was just hanging out on top of the water. And it was pretty shocking to go from my meditation, to go from thinking about the full moon to Aquarius, the water bearer, to how the spider is part of that creativity and creation, and then seeing it literally in my house, physically. So I kind of rolled up a paper towel and stuck it in the water, and then the spider got quite a bit bigger than it looked in the water bowl and started climbing quite quickly on the paper towel. And then I held it outside the window, and to be honest, it started walking way too fast towards me, and I dropped the paper towel out the window. That's what happened. I have to be honest. And I really hope that the spider is okay. I was trying to just kind of put it on the outside of the house, but that is not what happened. And I'm glad I shared that story because as I said it, I can feel kind of a soul question for myself. What part of my creativity am I scared of? What part? I can think of many. I will share next week. But yeah, that's going to be one of my journal prompts for sure. And if that resonates with you, I hope you take that as well. All right. So, yes, most of the episode, there were many questions as usual, but I did want to offer three main questions. If none of them throughout the episodes were really piquing your interest, here are three that you could answer. And again, you can answer these as a journal prompt. You can answer them in a voice note to yourself. You can just muse on them, however feels right to you. But the first question you could ask for this week: what does your past self want you to remember? What does your past self want you to remember? And this may come through free writing just afterwards, just writing exactly what comes to you, not judging it. Or this could be where you get an old journal and flip through and land on a page. And then what does that make you think of? But what does your past self want you to remember? And then a second question could be, where in your life could you use a really good stretch? Where do you need to stretch? And the third question you could ask, this one is connected to the energy of the full moon that can inspire us. What intentions can you set and commit to tending for the next month? Begin your intentions with, I am so grateful to finally release. And then write in what you want to release, what you need to let go of, so that you can do, create, or experience all that you desire. What do you need to release? Set that intention. Well, that takes us to the end of this episode. And thank you so much for listening. I would love to hear if you resonated with any of the energy that I'm feeling for this week of August 4th. And if you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. I received a few messages last week and it was so lovely to connect with you. So, yes, if you feel like sending me a message, send me a message. I am here. And if you're curious about working with me, go to the links in the show notes and you'll see a link there where you can tap and then explore all the ways that I am working and supporting so many lovely people and maybe you in the world. And if you haven't already, hugely appreciate it if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, follow, subscribe, and if you feel called to give a little bit of support, please share this episode with a friend. And you could also leave a review. That is so helpful. And both of those ways really help other people discover this podcast and allow me to keep bringing it to you. So thank you again. Be kind to yourself, and I will talk to you next week.